prediction section. I will be giving po yung climate review from May to June up to June 25. So contents and outline of this presentation is first, the recent ENSO condition, weather systems that affected the country, climate assessment in terms of rainfall and temperature, and the last one will be summary. So last May to 2023, Pag-asa issued the El Nino Alert status, from which it is issued when the probability of El Nino is raised up to more than 80%. So tumataas na po yung likelihood na magkaka-El Nino. So since May, we had issued the El Nino Alert already. So what does it mean? So based on the Pag-asa alert system, ENSO alert system, it means that early action should be taken. So meaning tips on what to do, stay updated on the climate advisories. So let's start conserving water, fix or report water leaks, then cooperate on local El Nino measures and other government agencies that had been mandated by the government to assess and to take some early preparation of the possible El Nino. So ano po ba yung El Nino? Or it is part of the ENSO, a large-scale variability resulting from the interaction between the ocean and atmosphere in the tropical Pacific. So nangyayari lang po yung El Nino or La Nina if may interaction or nag-react po yung atmosphere sa kung ano yung nangyayari sa dagat. Kung tumataas yung temperatura from the normal, which is above 0.5, nagkakaroon po tayo ng El Nino, and if that may last from 3 months or more. Then, kung unusual cooling naman po siya, yung paglamig ng temperatura, nabababa sa negative 0.5 that may last from 3 months or more, then we had what we call the La Nina, or else we had the neutral base of ENSO. So nakikita nyo po, dito lang po yung may natawag nating nangyayari yung El Nino, but since the tropical Pacific is malaki, yung Pacific Ocean natin, then we are greatly affected kasi andito po tayo sa may western part ng Pacific. So ano na po ba yung nangyayari between the atmosphere and the sea surface temperature? So let's start with the sea surface temperature. So since nag-declare po tayo ng El Nino Watch, which is on March 2023, the probability or yung pagtaas po ng tinatawag nating sea surface temperature anomaly is papunta na po siya sa greater than 0.5. So May 2023, malapit na po siya sa threshold na 0.5. And ito po, it is one of the indicators na umiinit na po from the normal. Mas mainit na po from the normal yung dagat sa may Eastern Central Equatorial Pacific. And let's go to the atmosphere naman po. So since nagre-react na po yung atmosphere, which is tinatawag nating inversely proportional po siya. So ang nangyayari po kasi, pag tumataas o mas umiinit yung dagat, doon nangyayari yung mga cloudiness. That is why doon mas marami yung low pressure systems, no? O mga kaulapan. Kaya during El Nino, mas bumababa po yung pressure along the Central and Eastern Equatorial Pacific. Kaya po yung mga pag-ulan is umaatras dun sa area na yon. So with this relationship, which is may reaction na po yung atmosphere, lumalaki lalo yung chance ng pagkakaroon na po natin ng El Nino in the coming months or in the coming weeks. So in last June 7, 2023, we had issued the monthly climate assessment and outlook under El Nino alert that says sea surface temperature continue to increase across the Central and Eastern Equatorial Pacific. Consensus of model forecasts suggests El Nino may emerge in the next couple of months. So ito lang po sa my right side, ito po yung ini-issue natin na advice, assessment and outlook. While yung nasa may baba naman is yung simplified, which is uploaded sa Pag-asa website. And with this development, then nag-react na po yung temperature. Yung El Nino alert natin, under El Nino alert is palabas na po tayo ng statement, update, last June 19, 2023 sa media. Now we are now in the El Nino condition. So how does it differ from advisory? It will be explained po sa climate outlook natin, which will be presented later. Weather systems that affected the country from May to June 25, 2023. So since May, we are affected by these weather systems like the low pressure area easterlies, which is dominant po siya during the transition period towards southwest monsoon. Frontal system o yung tinatawag nating Mayo front, nasa may northern Luzon up to Taiwan. So yun po yung frontal system na nakikita nating mga kaulapan. Localized thunderstorm, which is dominant siya during May, kung bago mag-start po yung tagulan natin. Intertropical convergence zone, which is affecting Mindanao, then unti-unti na po siyang umaakit sa Luzon. Then tropical cyclones for the month of May and June. So si Betty nahabol po siya sa May. So May 27 to June 1, while Typhoon Chedeng naman is from June 6 to 11. So yung southwest monsoon natin, nag-start po siya nung later part na po ng May. Then with the southwest monsoon, na isa po siya sa criteria na tinitingnan natin for the declaration of onset of rainy season. We had issued the press statement for the onset of rainy season last June 2, 2023, which is also yung mga pag-ulan niya is based po sa effects in Super Typhoon Betty and the southwest monsoon that had brought widespread rains over the western sections of Visayas. So, linawin ko lang po, the onset of the rainy season is declared over the climate type 1 area. And since dahil naman po sa southwest monsoon, mas maraming areas ang nakakaranas ng pag-ulan, then it could also mean that this rainy season is not only for climate type 1 area, but also other provinces that are greatly affected by the southwest monsoon din. And the passage or yung pagpasok ng other tropical cyclones sa PAR during the period of the southwest monsoon. So si Super Typhoon Betty, so kahit hindi po siya naglandfall dahil malaki po yung diameter niya at malakas yung hangin, it has also affected some areas, especially dito sa mas malapit sa track niya. And since na-enhance po ni Super Typhoon Betty yung southwest monsoon, then it also had brought more rain, especially dito sa areas ng Western Visayas, sa may area ng Mindoro Occidental at dito sa may parts ng Western Luzon. So affected population, umabot po siya ng mahigit 27,000 families. So nasa 104 affected persons. 6 regions lang naapektuhan niya, comprising of 21 provinces. Isang patay pero to be confirmed pa din siya. Injured, 1 total. Then related incidents, a total of 79 related incidents for flood and related incidents sa Region 1, Region 3, Mimaropa, Region 6. So wala po siya masyadong naging damage sa agriculture and infrastructure, maliban lang po sa mga nangamatay na hayop and sa mga damaged houses. Then suspension of classworks had also been ginawa ng mga LGUs natin for early action sa kung ano yung mga possible effects po ni Super Typhoon Betty and the enhanced southwest monsoon during this time. So other reported incidents during the passage of Typhoon Betty. So nagpaulan po siya sa Batanes at malakas din yung hangin niya na nagdulot ng malalaking alon. So ito po yung dito sa may part ng mga inulan sa may western section ng Visayas, ang parts ng Luzon, binaha sila. Up to signal number 2 yung inisyo dito sa may side na hagip po ng diameter ni Super Typhoon Betty. Then, sa may Iloilo, which is isa din po sa greatly affected by the enhanced southwest monsoon, lumikas po ang 500 families para maiwasan po yung possible na pagtaas ng tubig. So si Typhoon Chedeng naman po is mas malayo yung track niya and wala po siyang naging direct effect sa bansa natin maliban lang po sa na-enhance niya konti yung southwest monsoon. Nasabi po ni Ma'am Oy kanina ay nagdulot ng mga pagulan doon sa may Ambuklao Benga Dam. So itong area po ng Western Luzon and some parts po dito sa may Palawan. Significant weather events maliban po sa mga bagyo. So yung LPA na minomonitor natin ngayon, nasabi ni Sir Alzar ay posibleng dumaan sa may Central Luzon. So last May 26, may tinamaan ulit na mga kabataan ng kidlat. So pag severe yung thunderstorm or may thunderstorm na pinoforecast sa inyong lugar, is mas marapati nating sumilong sa mga bahay or matataas na struktura. So avoid po natin na magstay sa open field at sa mga ilalim ng puno. State of calamity dineklara sa Cotabato dahil po sa effects ng Intertropical Convergence Zone. And last Friday po, may buhawi na nakaapekto po sa may Pampanga na nawasak po niya yung 21 bahay at including yung simbahan sa area na yun, no? Barangay San Vicente. Climate assessment for May, for May, so 1 way below normal. 14 provinces ang nagkaroon ng below normal, while near to above is mostly seen in these parts of Luzon, so including Bicol region and most parts of Visayas and Mindanao. So mostly yung below normal has been observed in most parts of northern Luzon. While for the month of June 1, for the period of June 1 to 25, mas dumami na po yung areas. So hindi pa naman po tapos yung June. May 5 araw pa tayo. But most areas, especially sa northern Luzon, Bicol region, northern parts of Visayas and western Mindanao had been affected by below normal. So below normal, 2-way below normal yung mga ulan na naranasan sa mga areas na to. While some parts of central Luzon, Palawan, and the northern and eastern section of Mindanao, then ito pong sa may southern parts of Visayas ay nakaranas naman ng near to above normal rainfall. So what does it mean yung 2 months or since April na kakulangan sa ulan, especially sa may parts ng northern Luzon? So dahil sa mga kakulangan na yon sa ulan na umaabot ng up to 60%, those areas had been already affected by the dry condition or dry spell, especially itong parts ng. So first is dito muna tayo sa dry condition, which is 2 consecutive months of below normal rainfall and a reduction of 40 to 80% ng ulan. So these areas include especially sa northern Luzon, Aurora, Batangas, Isabela, Mountain Province, and Tarlac. While may 5 areas or provinces po tayo na apektado na ng dry spell or may 3 buwan na nagkaroon ng 21 to 60% reduction ng rainfall, which comprises of the provinces of Abra, so Apayao, Abra, Cagayan, Kalinga, and Ilocos Norte. So wala pa naman po tayong areas na nakakaranas ng drought, then we can also see mamaya po sa outlook natin kung ano yung forecast. So based po sa rainfall forecast natin, kung saan yung mga areas na possible mas magiging affected by this lack of rainfall in the next couple of months. Temperature assessment for the month of May. Highest is dito po sa may ISU. Sa may part po ng Isabela, which is nasa 39 degrees Celsius. While for Metro Manila, yung highest ay naitala dito sa may port area. Nakita natin, ito yung kulay niya. Which is on May 8, 2023. Yung pinakamalamig naman po ay naitala sa may La Trinidad, Benguet, nasa 14.8 degrees Celsius, San Baguio, nasa 16.4 degrees Celsius. At nangyari siya noong May 2 at sa Baguio ay May 2 saka 27. While for Metro Manila, naitala yung pinakamalamig na temperatura nasa 24 degrees Celsius sa may port area on May 8 and 9. But generally, kung titingnan natin, near to above average mean surface temperatures were observed in most parts of the country. Maliban lang po ito sa mga areas ng Basco, Coron, Romblon, and dito sa may Ambulan na nakaranas ng slightly cooler than normal na temperature. Well, for the month of June 1 to 25, highest na naitala ay sa may Tugigaraw, Cagayan. On June 2, nasa 38.8 degrees Celsius, while for Metro Manila naman is sa port area pa din, na nasa 36.5 degrees Celsius in June 22. While for the coolest is sa BSU La Trinidad, Benguet. So, andito po siya sa may part na to. Nasa 15.1 on June 1, while sa Baguio naman is nasa 16.4 degrees Celsius. Well, for Metro Manila naman, the coolest is 23.5 degrees Celsius sa my port area, Manila. So, possible pa po ito na magbago kasi hindi pa naman tapos yung June. Itong mga highest at lowest temperature. So, observed temperature. So, ano lang po to, summary lang po. For the observed temperature for the month of June, which had been na po. So generally, yung pinaka-highest pa din ng June natin is sa Tugigaraw, nasa 41.7 degrees Celsius. So hindi naman po siya na-beat. While yung pinakamalamig naman is nasa okay. 14.5 degrees Celsius sa may Baguio. So generally, so in summary, in soil alert system, so nasa El Nino alert pa din po tayo, but with the statement na may El Nino condition. No? So rainfall for May 2023, generally near to above normal rainfall conditions were experienced in most parts of the country, maliban lang po sa most parts ng Northern Luzon, especially sa Ilocos Norte, while the temperature is generally near to above normal rainfall, even though may some areas na nakaranas ng slightly cooler than normal. And in June 1 to 25 naman, generally, mas dumami na yung mga areas na nagkakaranas ng way below to below normal rainfall in most parts of the country, especially sa parts ng Northern Luzon, Western Mindanao, sa northern part ng Visayas. And for the temperature, generally, mainit pa din, near to above average in most parts of the country. So last May 25, 26, and 30, so hindi lang po tayo nagkakandak or nagkaka-join ng local climate forum or national. We are also a member of the Asian COF or the Asian Climate Outlook Forum, which was held twice a year in the months of May and November. So with this, nakaka-generate po tayo ng probabilistic rainfall outlook in terms of rainfall and temperature. So yung mga member countries po nito ay, or mga members ng forum na to ay mga meteorologists from Asian countries, and together with yung tinatawag nating Asian Specialized Meteorological Center, sila po yung nagpa-facilitate. We had accomplished this probabilistic map, especially for on May, to generate the GGA season, while sa November naman is to generate the GGF probability. So for the most parts for the Southeast Asia region, ano ba yung magiging possible na magiging maulan ba forecast or magiging below normal yung pag-ulan? But so makikita natin the result is for the Philippines, there is a higher probability of above normal rainfall. Makikita natin near to above normal rainfall in most parts of the country maliban lang po sa some areas in Mindanao. So while sa temperature naman po, yung for the GGA is nasa near to above normal yung temperature na pino-forecast based po sa Asian Cup. So Asian Cup is not only yung mga Asian countries lang. It is also joined by international global forecast producing centers like the NCAR, ECMWF, BOOM, and UKMET. So mostly international, which is under the WMO RCOF, Regional Climate Office. So I think that ends my presentation. Maraming salamat.
All right, so thank you very much, Sir Juni, for that detailed explanation and quick lesson on basic climatology. I hope and I'm sure may new learnings ang ating mga viewers. No? If meron po kayong mga questions, feel free na mag-chat sa ating Zoom chat box. And para sa viewers natin sa Facebook and YouTube channel ay mag-comment lang po kayo sa ating mga comment boxes and mamaya sa open forum ay sasagutin po natin yan. Okay po, so ngayon ay binigay ni Sir Juni ang assessment ng ating climate conditions o yung mga nangyaring significant events noong nakaraang mga buwan. Ngayon po, ibibigay naman ng ating susunod na resource speaker ang forecast for the coming months. Now, to give us our seasonal to sub-seasonal forecast, let us all welcome Ma'am Remedios El Ciervo, Senior Weather Specialist ng Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section. Go ahead po, Ma'am Rem.
Thank you, Jerem. Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay na po ba yung aking screen? Dito na siya. Paano ba tanggalin ang camera?
Yung percent po, ma'am.
Tayo, oo. Ano ba yung camera?
Ayan, okay na po.
Again, good morning. This morning, represent ko po yung sub-seasonal to seasonal or S2S climate forecast. The outline of my presentation, yung first, what is the sub-seasonal to seasonal S2S forecasting, the predictability of S2S, focusing on MJO, and the sub-seasonal climate forecast, and the last is a summary. Just a recap or a small review, what is S2S? Ano nga ba yung S2S? S2S, sub-seasonal yung S2, seasonal S prediction. It is a time average, example, Pentad Weekly, climate forecast with time scales from 2 weeks up to 2 months. It is the part of the WMO Global Framework for Climate Services or the GFCS. And the goal is to improve, para ma-improve yung forecast skill and understanding on high impact weather events like rainfall and tropical cyclones, and to improve decision-making and policy-making in agriculture, food security, water, disaster risk reduction, health, and others. It brings early warning to early action. Before, we have only the weather prediction to 1 to 14 days. Ito po, meron tayong weather forecast, tropical cyclone forecast, at yung iba pa. temperature. Then, meron din tayong seasonal prediction to 1 to 6 months up to 1 year. Dito natin makikita yung ating mga rainfall outlook, mga temperature forecast for the next 6 months at iba pa. This sub-seasonal prediction contribute to fill the gap between weather and seasonal time scale. Ito nga po yung sa ating sub-seasonal prediction na forecast natin for 2 weeks to 2 months. At ang main sources ng S2S predictability, nga po Madden-Julian Oscillation or the MJO, ocean, land, ice surface condition, ng yung ENSO, the soil moisture and snow cover. Madi-discuss po dito in detail mamaya ng ating mga next speaker at yung stratosphere-troposphere interaction. For now, yun munang Madden-Julian Oscillation. Dito sa animation, MJO is an intra-seasonal eastward moving disturbance. Ito daw po isang disturbance of clouds, winds, rainfall, and pressures na nagsi-circle sa tropical areas of the globe in 30 to 60 days of oscillation. Makikita niyo po, ito siya yung mga kaulapan. May clouds po siya, winds, rainfall, and pressure. Why is MJO important? Makikita natin dito sa gitnang figure, yung example, kunyari, yung MJO for week 1, nandito for week 2, nakatapat na siya sa Pilipinas, yung location niya, and then for week 4 to 5, papalayo na siya. Di po ba, cycle kasi siya, nag-move siya eastward. Kaya nung week 1, dito siya, pag ganun yung movement niya. MJO can enhance or suppress the rainfall in the equatorial area, including the Philippines. Kung nasan yung MJO, pwede rin yung nagbibigay siya ng maraming pag-ulan kung natatapat siya sa location na to. And para sa week 4 to 5, pwede din siyang act as a modulator of tropical cyclone formation in the country. For the next figure, ito yung mga mapa of the composite of the MJO life cycle. Yung MJO kasi merong 8 phases. Makita natin dito, phase 1 to phase 8. For the tropical rainfall, kung ito yung location ni MJO kung saan siya mapatapat, yung green to blue areas, yun yung mga lugar na meron siyang increased rainfall at enhanced phase of the MJO. Hanapin natin yung namang brown areas, decreased rainfall, or the suppressed phase of the MJO. Hanapin natin yung mga color dito. For the phase 2, makikita natin sa Philippines, pag si MJO ay nasa phase 2, suppress meron tayong suppressed convection, kaya decrease yung ating rainfall. Pero dito sa phase 5, at saka sa phase may makikita tayong mga green areas kasi nakalagay dito, green to blue areas ay increased rainfall. Therefore, pag si MJO ay nandito sa phase 5, 6, at saka dito sa 4, at saka dito sa 7, makikita natin itong mga green to blue areas na to, ito yung mga increased rainfall. For the observed MJO, makikita natin dito, nasaan na ba yung MJO for the past 40 days? This graph, or ito yung line graph na to, representing the May 16 to 2023 to June 24, 2023. Yung green line niya is for May 16, yung blue line niya is for June. The recent signal of MJO observed over the Indian Ocean. Kung titingnan naman natin, ano ba yung forecast evolution ng MJO for June 25 to July 9, 2023, or for the next 15 days, ito yung kanyang forecast. May iba-iba tayong International Prediction Center na mayroon silang model para sa MJO. For the JEPS forecast, yung red color, yung forecast niya ng June 25 to July 7. Ito yung July 7. For the ECMWF forecast, from June 25 to July 9, halos magkakamukha sila. Even the JM of forecast, nandito sila sa lugar ng Indian Ocean. Most of the models predict MJO will likely to have a low amplitude or weak signal in the coming 2 weeks and will be quasi-stationary in the Indian Ocean. When you say quasi-stationary, hindi po siya ganong lalayo dito sa lugar na to for the next 2 weeks. Makikita naman natin dito yung MJO forecast evolution animation for June 22 to July 10, 2023. Di ba yung kanina, green to blue areas, makikita natin increased rainfall or the enhanced phase of the MJO, while the brown areas, decreased rainfall, suppressed phase of the MJO. Yung Philippines, nakita natin, wala siya, halos hindi siya dinaanan ng mga green to blue colors. The MJO cycle, rainfall can significantly increase or decrease depending on MJO location around the globe or near the equator. Next naman po, i-discuss ko yung subseasonal climate forecast for June 26 to July 9, 2023, which include the tropical cyclone threat potential at saka yung rainfall exceedance probability forecast. Yung ating threat potential, makikita natin dito for week 1 and week 2 forecast summary. Malalaman kasi natin sa forecast na to kung meron bang likelihood ng TC genesis. For week 1, June 26 to July 2, meron tayong legend dito sa ilalim. Pagkakakita tayo ng red color, yung active TC, yung stripe high, moderate yung may stripe na blue and pink, at yellow yung low. For week 1, forecast indicates a low likelihood of TC genesis within the PMD in week 1. Therefore, wala tayong TC threat for June 26 to July 10. Wala tayong inaasahang bagyo na mabubuo for week 1. And for week 2, meron tayo ditong TCLB or the Tropical Cyclone-like Vortices within the PMD. Pero forecast suggests that TCLB has a low likelihood of cyclogenesis. Therefore, there is no TC threat in week 2. The information contained here is based on the 6-hourly forecast of the NSEP JEPS issued in the past 24 hours for the Central Weather Bureau. TC tracking algorithm was applied. Ito po ay part ng collaboration ng PAG-ASA at CWB through the Mecoteco Boat Project and for guidance purposes only. Valid within the forecast period unless superseded by succeeding forecast. Then, yung next figure, ito yung tropical cyclone climatological track. Ano ba yung mga track ng bagyo na inaasahan? Ito yung average sa track ng bagyo na inaasahan natin kapag June. Meron po tayong 4 climatological tracks. Yung number 1, makikita natin, may TC na mag-enter sa PAR at re-recarb siya, pero hindi siya maglalandfall. Same with tropic TC number, yung average number 2 na nag-enter siya sa PAR, but recarb afterwards. Landfalling din siya, pero papunta naman siya ng Japan. Yung 3 and 4, naglandfall siya, and yung 3, this one, yung track na to, nag-traverse siya sa southern part of Luzon Island and moving towards northern Vietnam or Hong Kong. Number 4 naman, nagtatraverse siya sa eastern north part ng Visayas and moving towards northern Vietnam or Hong Kong. For July, napakaraming tropical cyclone tracks. Average na pag-July. Same with June, yung unang track natin ay hindi siya maglalandfall, magre-recarb, same with number 2. Pero yung 3 and 4, ganun din sa north, medyo umakyat siya, nasa north central parts of Luzon and moving towards Vietnam. Yung isang track naman natin na average track na number 4, landfalling TC traversing the southern part of Luzon Island and moving towards Vietnam. For the rainfall exceedance probability forecast for June 26 to July 2, 2023, ito pong week 1 na to, pinakikita lamang ng mga mapa na to, ano ba yung chances na mag-exceed siya ng 25 mm, dito naman sa gitna 50 mm, at dito sa bandang dulo ay 100 mm. For week 1, high to a very high probability to exceed 25 mm of rainfall over most parts of the country. Ito kasi dito sa bandang kanan yung ating, pag nakakita yun tayo ng mga red color, yun yung very high probability, yellow to orange, high probability, at medyo light green to light blue, ay moderate probability, and pag white and konting green lang, yun ang low probability. Para naman sa 50 mm rainfall, high to a very high probability to exceed siya. Kasi yung color nga niya, makita nyo, red. Pero over the most parts of the country, except here in Catanduanes, sa Palawan, kasi iba yung color niya, Leyte provinces, and some areas in western and southern Mindanao, where a moderate likelihood is likely yung color niya. Then for the chance to exceed 100 millimeter of rainfall, moderate probability siya in most parts of CAR, Central Luzon, Bukidnon, and while low likelihood over the rest of the country. And for week 2, rainfall exceedance probability forecast for July 3 to 9, 2023, high to a very high probability din po to exceed 25 millimeter of rainfall in most parts of the country. Para naman sa 50 millimeters of rainfall in most parts of northern and central Luzon, high to a very high probability. Moderate to high likelihood naman over the rest of the country. Pero dito sa 100 millimeter, maliit po yung chance niya na mag-exceed siya ng 100 millimeter rainfall. And for the summary of subseasonal forecast, ang ating current MJO status, yung recent signal of MJO ay na-observe over the Indian Ocean. At for the next 2 weeks, magiging quasi-stationary siya. For the tropical cyclone threat potential forecast for March 22, sorry po, hindi napalitan ng petsa, suggests a low likelihood of tropical cyclone formation for week 1 and week 2. For the rainfall exceedance sa 25 millimeter, both week 1 and week 2, high probability siya. Sa 50 millimeter, week 1 and week 2, high to a very high probability. At sa 100 millimeter, to exceed 100 millimeter rainfall, sa week 1, moderate probability siya, pero sa week 2, maliit ang chance na mag-exceed siya ng 100 millimeter. At para naman po doon sa mga binanggit kong mga information kanina, kung gusto niyo po silang balikan or kahit walang forum, pwede niyo siyang makita dito sa puntahan lamang niyo po yung aming website, bagongpag-asa.usp.gov.ph. Punta po kayo dito sa menu ng tropical cyclone, sa PC threat potential forecast, at makikita niyo na po itong ating tropical cyclone PC threat potential. Para naman sa rainfall exceedance, punta kayo sa climate, for the climate prediction, subseasonal, at ito na nga po yung info, dalawa po siya, pwede siyang yung JEPS at NCEP. Yun lamang po at maraming salamat. Back to you, Jerem.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Rem, for explaining the definition as well as yung basics ng seasonal to subseasonal forecast, as well as yung pagbigay po ninyo ng forecast para sa mga susunod na linggo. It's a very informative presentation and I'm sure may new learnings po ang ating mga viewers. Again, ulitin ko lang po yung mga products na ipine-present dito ng ating mga climatologists ay pwedeng mahanap sa sa website ng Pag-asa. Search nyo lang po bagong.pagasa.ust.gov.ph. Okay po, so time check. It's 10:15 a.m. Nasa kalahati na po tayo ng ating program. Magkakaroon po tayo ngayon ng short health break. After 10 minutes ay mag-resume po tayo sa ating program with our remaining presentation and one special lecture on impact-based forecasting and warning system. Huwag muna po kayong aalis kasi next na po yung highlight ng ating event. Mamaya i-explain na po sa atin yung mangyayari sa ating klima sa mga susunod na buwan. Again, after 10 minutes, balik po tayo. Thank you po.